Shalom Yesharallah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rechah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the Ofle Akim that's preached the word in all truth and sincerity, along to Israelite foreign brothers that are like the heathens, but the line of outside goes back to the nation of Israel, which the nation of Israel, i.e. so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter, and throughout the Bible. So this is your brother Yakal Amath, back to lesson, and today's lesson will be entitled, Blessed are ye when men shall hate you. I'm just going to go on some precepts, and Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemam Shai. Because one common thing that all the true prophets went through was that they were greatly hated by their own people, and the heathen nations. And us being in this truth is no different, and our Lord Yahweh Shai, was the greatest example of how, he was hated. But at the same time, our Lord Yahweh Shai told us that we are blessed when we are hated, because that means that, we are applying the scriptures and we are doing what we're supposed to do, you know. So, I just wanted to go into a lesson in regards to the topic, and, Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemon Shai, you know. Now, I'm going to start with the book of Luke, chapter 6, and verse 22. And it reads, Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. That's right, man. Because that applies to all of us, when we heard the word and we repented, and we came in the truth, man. Because once we came in the truth, that's when our family and our friends started to separate their company from us, because they seen the transition. They seen the transition in us by putting on that new man and Yahweh that's renewed in Yahweh Shai, man, through repentance and the mindset. We're not being niggas. Some of us used to smoke, drink, party every weekend, which nothing wrong with drinking, but, as long as it's done in moderation, you're not out here being a drunkard, but as far as smoking, that's going off, being in the world, going to all these parties and functions, now that, you came in the truth, now they seen a transition, now they start to separate you from their company, even calling you weird, dang, bro, you changed, man, you're not the same old Joe like we know, then they start to, you know, you become the topic of the family functions, the family get-togethers when they get around. You heard about such and such, man? I heard he in the cult, man. He in that Israelite thing, that Hebrew Israelite thing. They teach hate. You know how Jake be. So, hey, but at the end of the day, the Lord said we are blessed, man. Because if your family or your friends that you know in the world don't say that you changed, then something is wrong. That's a problem. you know, because Job he experienced this, man. Because in Job he caught a lot of hell once the Lord put that hell on him, man. And but when you go to Job 19 verse 7, it reads everything is against him, you know, and it says, "Behold, I cry a wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment." Right, and sometimes you can feel like that, man. Because we sighing and crying for all the abominations that we've done in the midst of in Babylon in America, man. Seeing these women just off the chain and they're not getting judged, they're not getting reproved, they're not getting rebuked of they of how they conducting themselves to be harlots, to be hoes, promiscuous, wanton, not being content, you know. Seeing these, the alphabet movement just getting laws and they getting justified to be in their wicked behavior. You know, the so-called white man, he just seemed like he get away with everything, but we understand that, Yahweh Shema Shai, he hears us, you know. But it's gonna be a point in time, and when the Lord is gonna crack down that hammer, he's gonna be pouring out pure judgment. So the Lord does hear us, but the world doesn't hear us because they look at our message as insignificant. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Shema Shai hears our cries of us being wrong and how this earth is being ran. Now there is no judgment. The Lord is hearing it, but the 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 people of the world is not hearing it. Besides the elect, you see, it says verse 8. It says, "He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he hath set darkness in my paths." Man, because in spirit we were once in darkness. As Apostle Paul said, you were sometimes in darkness. Because it was a point in time when we were without the truth. We didn't know who we were. We were uh, in the valley of dry bones, man. We didn't know our true nationality. We didn't know us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans. We didn't know we were the true Israelites. The true people of the Bible. You know. So it says, verse 9 says, "He has stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head." Yeah, because remember, Job, he was the richest man during his day, during his time. He was the richest man of his day, as it says in Job 1. So for him to go on the lower state, he had boils covered all throughout his body. His woman was coming up against him, his family. We're just going to say all this in this chapter. He don't go more in depth into it, but Job lost everything, so in spirit, that applies to us as a nation. We lost everything. We lost being feared by these heathen nations, you know, having all the resources, you know, the being the mighty warriors, you know, being knowledgeable, having men of knowledge, being eloquent, and as it says in Isaiah, I believe it's the third chapter, the Lord took away all those things that sustain a nation, man. You know, from the leaders, the judges, the eloquent orators. You know, brothers can read, go into it and read it, but the Lord took everything from us, and that was a form of the Lord stripping us of our glory and taking the crown from our head, man. You see, it says He had destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and my hope have He removed like a tree, man. You know, and right, the Lord has definitely destroyed us, man, on every side. By the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. But the Lord, with balance, the Lord has uplifted us by way of giving us His truth, man, because the Lord will never forsake His seed. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's seed, which are the Israelites, which is us. So the Lord, is a man of His word. Yeah, the Lord destroy a lot of us, by not, through slavery and stuff. But with balance, the Lord has uplifted us by giving us His truth, man. You see, making us strong mentally by giving us the true doctrine from the Apostle Elsgray Millstone. But I'm gonna jump down because I don't want to deviate from the topic of the lesson. But let's jump down to verse 13, and it reads, "He hath put my brethren far from me, and my acquaintance are verily estranged from me." Yeah, so once you come in the truth, the Lord have push your brethren, your actual brothers in the truth, and your biological brothers, if brothers have them, you know, from you, man. Which brother means friend too. I mean, friend means brother, so it could be your actual friends of the world, So that's what the Lord did once we came to the truth. But really, that was the Lord separating that negative energy from you. That negative influence that they may have had when you were in the world from you. You know, it says, "My kinsfolks have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me." See, so Job is acknowledging his own people. They all failed him, man. They turn their back against him. You know, it says, "They that dwell in my house and my maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight." An alien means foreigner. You know, so it's going to another translation. It It reads, my guests and my female servants count me a foreigner. They look on me as on a stranger. So even Joe's own servants and maids counted him as a stranger, man. Once he started catching hell, you know, because once you start coming to truth, you start catching hell. You'll realize who your real friends are. Your real friends are your brothers in the faith, man. The like-minded brothers in the faith that understand what we all grow through, man. You know, it says, I called my servant and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. So his own servant wasn't obeying him. So basically, everybody was coming up against Job, man, all for, you know, for being in the truth and the him suffering the wrath that came upon him, man. You know, it says when I call my servant, he doesn't come. I had to plead with him. See, so even Job's own servants wasn't respecting him. You know, because Job, he was a master of the house, so the servant, you're supposed to respect the master. So even Job's servant wasn't respecting him. So basically, you know, as I said right here, everything is against him. See, and that same message applies to us. Everything is against us in this world, man. You know, but the Lord gives us comfort by allowing us to know the truth, the full truth, the 100% truth, and to know this is just a condition of the battle, man. You know, this is just how it's supposed to be. Now with balance, the Lord can give us, times of prosperity and, you know, you could be doing good for a certain point in time. But for the most part, we catch hell in the truth, man. It says, verse 17, my breath is strange to my wife, though I treat it for the children's sake of my own body. So brothers with children, their own brothers' own children, be against them when they come in the truth. It says, my breath is offensive to my wife. I am loathsome to my own family. So my breath is repulsive to my wife. I am rejected by my own family. See, even your own immediate family, your wife, your children, even they can be against you in your own house. You know, and that just happens, man. When you stand up for truth, because your woman and children, they are the world. They love this world, man. If they're not in the truth, you do got some brothers in the truth that their wives may believe, in children, but for the most part, it's not like that, man. It says, verse 18 says, yeah, young children despise me. I arose and they spake against me. All their inward friends abhor me, and they whom I love are turned against me. See? So everybody is against Job, man. And that's how we feel in the spirit, man. Everybody's against it. Because whoever is not in the truth is going to betray us. They are enemies, And that just remind me to read again, blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company. Right, so that applied to Job, and that's going to apply to the elect believers once they come in the truth. Your own, I got to keep saying it, but your own family and friends going to be against you. Even if you don't even tell them the truth, by default, they going to notice how your spirit changed, man. By default, they don't know, like, something different about you. But they look at it as evil. But really, it's good on our part, man. Because we're changing for the better. We're changing to please Yahweh Shimon Shai. And beware of our diet, many forms. Our diet, our attitude, our spirit, everything, man. And once Jake in the world that knows you, even amongst your coworkers too, they'll see that and they'll stop to be offended and talk shit about you, man, because they're so used to nigga culture, you know. So when they see something outside of nigga culture, they can't accept it, man. It's foreign to them. So by them not understanding it, they just cast it as evil, you know. But this is St. John 15:18 says, disciples relation to the world. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Yeah. So the world hates us. We already know that it hated our Lord Yahushua before it hated us. You know, if you were of the world will love. If you were of the world will love his own. Yeah. So if you were of the world will love us as their own. They will accept us because we have their same mentality. You know, it says, but because you are not of the world, but have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Yeah. So you know, we are not of this world. You know, the Lord chosen out of the world, so the world won't hate us. You know, it says, remember the word that I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. Right. So, you know, we are servants of our Lord Yahushua. He's the master. He's the Lord. So if they persecute him, he's the son of the Most High. How much more than us of his household, man? Lord, when we the elect of his household. So they're gonna do the same thing to us because we come in his energy and his spirit, man. You know, because we're supposed to follow Yahweh Shai because he was a great example of how to be while teaching the ministry. You know, so we're supposed to follow his example and imitate Yahweh Shai. You know, follow his footsteps, man. This is Psalm 69, and this is a Psalm of King David. Psalm 69 and 8 says, I am becoming a stranger to my brethren and an alien, which means foreigner, to my mother's children. So even David suffered the same thing. You know, I said, verse 7, because for thy sake I have borne reproach, shame have covered my face. Yeah, so, you know, we are suffering for Yahweh Shema Shai's sake, man. And it's just for being righteous in the wicked world. You know, and King David, he experienced the same thing for him to say this, you know. And Apostle John, you know, the blood disciple of our Lord Yahweh, which is John, the son of Zebedee, he said it. 1 John 3:13, marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. See? So all the righteous prophets, beginning on our Lord Yahweh, because Yahweh was a prophet as well, because he prophesied, just to give one example to prove that he was a prophet, he prophesied 70 AD before it happened, you know. So our Lord, he was a prophet, man. You know, but so all the prophets, beginning on our Lord Yahweh, you know, they were all hated, man, for righteousness' sake. You know, and so will we be as well. You know, it says, "Why would not my brethren if the world hates you?" See, so that's just how it is, man. But you know, yes, you know, it's part of our cross. You know, part of carrying our cross in the truth. But hey, at least we know what comforts us is at least we know what we're doing is right because the scriptures are being applied to us. You know, if you're not being hated and something is wrong, you got check your spirit, man. But if you are being hated for the most part, then that's good. You know, and with balance, you may want to make sure I say this too. With balance, you may have people in the world dealing with balance. You may have know people in the world that may you know you may be favorable in their eyes. You know, they may look at you as a good, honest, and righteous man, respectable man. So there's nothing wrong with that, because I did want to make sure I bring the balance too in the lesson. You know, sometimes some people in the world you may be held in good favor amongst them, but for the most part, we're gonna be hated, you know. So I just want to make sure I address that as well. So, so yeah, that was pretty much it. Just wanted to make a cool lesson on that. Lord willing, I was edified. And till next time, Shalom.